Good morning, everybody. A little mokim iyun in the Rambam today. The Rambam sagt das. Peirik Yud Aleph Halacha Yud Gimel. Mi sheshochat hasabehimo koda hasabeten. He ripped open the stomach of the animal. What did he do? He did it in order to take out the reya, the lung, to check the lung. Check the lung to see if the sircha is a sircha that's blocking a hole. If it's a sircha that's blocking a nekev, it's treifa, or it's tamas sircha from the lachluchis oreya. The way that Rambam explains in great length what is a sircha, what makes it possible, treifa and what's a sircha that's kosher. There's actually an interesting shaila. Why do we make a brocha? It's a takonas chazal to check for the animal. Then the Rambam says, before he gets a chance to check this lung, bo kelev comes a dog, a goy, v'natol sareya, v'holach. He takes the reya, he leaves him reyaless. He's standing there with the behemoth, and he can't do anything. So the Rambam, hareizu muteres, it's a kosher behemoth. You don't say maybe this reya had a hole and it's the velus of treifos. Or it was dovuk. If it's a sircha she'eina dvuka, if it's not connected, then it's stam sircha from lachluchis oreya. It's not blocking a hole. But if it's dvuka, it's blocking a hole, and we know the animal would rip off eventually the sircha, and it would make a treif. She'ein machzikin isur. You're not machzik isur. And the Rambam writes, if there's the slightest hole in the moyach, we're not choshesh. Or the shidra, if there's a hole in the shedra, we don't have to be afraid for the tarfus in the reya. We don't have to say that it's an avela. And the Rambam says, "Ve'ein b'zeh minig, shedova she'eni motzui ein boi minig." It's something that's very not common, very uncommon. So there's no minig, and the Rambam paskin that it's muter. Dovet l'cheir ha'shayla. Male and the rest of the animal, like the Rambam says, the krum moyach or the shidra. We know there's no chiyuv bedike. But here, there's a chiyuv bedike. How can you compare it? But the Rambam says that it's the same thing. It's not a regular reya. It's a reya sha'ovda. Takonas chazal from dike was if the reya is lefonenu. If the reya is not lefonenu, then there's no chiyuv b'dika. It becomes like the other shivim treifos. Fascinating number. And it's brought down in the Shulchan Aruch and Simul Amates. And the Ravid says, Omar Avraham, Yei shechelkin al reya. No. As is do a chiyuv b'dika. If there's a chiyuv b'dika, then if the guy took it away, you can't be b'dik it, you can't eat it. Just like if the reya is here and you didn't check it. Chazal say that this treifa of nekuvas oreya is different than all the other treifas. So the same thing if it's when it's lost. It's the same thing. Darf man verstehen, was dort der Machlekes, if the Reya gets lost, if you could eat the animal or not. Before we go further, there's a fascinating story of the holy Alshich. The Alshich was a Yida Gvir. And there came an Oni to him, a very brazen, saying, I'm hungry, give me to eat. So he shechted an animal for him to give him a good steak. And the holy Alshich made a b'dikas hareya, and it was not kosher. The sirchus there showed that it was a real hole. And the story was, the guy was screaming, he's hungry, the Alshich had angeschochten 39 animals. And the guy was screaming, but he continued shechting. It was a big hefset moment. The Rambam says in these days, the shurim about treifa reyes, treifa lungs. He shechted the 40th animal, it was kosher. And they told the holy Alshich, the guest eating the steak said, Amalio Novi, I came to test you on your tzedakah, on your generosity, on your kindness, and because you withstood the test, you will have a big bracha, and will reveal you secrets in chelik hapshat of Torah. That's why he wrote this Alshich al Torah. Interesting. While we're learning about b'dikas hareya, the Rogatchover tries to explain the machlekes. And he brings another interesting Rambam to explain this machlekes. The Rambam is in Hilchos Gerushin. Hilchos Gerushin, Perik Aleph, Halacha Chof Hei. The Rambam sagt, as a get, was is meuchen is possible. And the Ravid argues with him and says it's not possible. A muktim is possible, a get meuchen is not possible. Then we come to Halacha Chavov. The Rambam says, Chotach mimenu azman. If he took a scissor and cut off the zman of the get, Koshers of the Rambam. Then the Rambam says, the Ravid argues and says, what do you mean? You cut off the zman, the get's a kosher get. The Ravid says, it's from Shleisha Gitim Psulin Huzeh. Darf man verstehen. The Rambam says zman is very important, more than the Ravid. That's why he says even Meucher is kosher. Why does he say if you cut off the whole zman, it's kosher? On zman. Will the Rogatchover lernen that they're arguing what's takonas chazal? Is takonas chazal that it should have zman? Or is takonas chazal that you should write the zman? Once you did a takona and something happened, you cut off the zman. So when you were koras habeten in our Rambam, you did whatever you can to do b'dikas hareya. Learn the Rambam as mideh must to mekayim with takonas chazal. So memele, since you did takonas chazal, learn the Rambam as now the Reya with the hole has a halacha like the other tarfos that were not beidig for. Dorten is nicht gewähnt takonas chazal. Sadover sheine motzui. We find it by Yayinesech. Dover sheine motzui legozer b'rabonon. If legozer b'rabonon, hotis adin, like the other tarfos. Amazing Rambam. The same thing by Zman. You did it. You were Mekayim Takonis Chazal. The Ravid learns. There's some poskim that say that the Ravid doesn't like it because then people could make tricks and say, "Oops, the Reya got lost." So therefore, he wants to say that at Kol Zman you didn't check the Reya. We can't let this go. We can't let this go. It could breach and make a weakness in Takonis Chazal. But the Rambam learns that Takonis Chazal is very strong, and there will not be a weakness. Some people want to say that Rambam learns by get when you cut off the Zman. Not we're not choishes that Ramai will cut off the Zman. If that through this will become a weakness in Takonis Chazal. That this will make people say, we wrote this Zman, we cut it off. By Yidnis, Takonis Chazal, very choshev. So could be that this is the machlekes. This is pshat in the Rogatchover, that this is the machlekes. What's Takonis Chazal? Is Takonis Chazal to make Reye a cheftze von Isse? Or is Takonis Chazal that you should do your part to be Beidik? We find also the Rambam and the Ravid argue in Hilchos Pesach. They argue if it's a Isse Gavra or Isse Cheftze. So it could be they argue the same thing by Takonis Chazal. That the Ravid learns that the Reya Be'etzim becomes a Mesupek. Takonis Chazal is not only on the Gavra to do the Bedike. This can also be connected. The general, beautiful sichas of the Rebbe in Achar Shal Pesach Tovshin Lamed Vov. What's the Geder V'Yisuri de Rabbonon? That the Rebbe learns there's a lot of stiris in Shas. If you say it's Isa Gavre or Isa Cheftze, the Rebbe wants to answer. The Rebbe learns that it's Isa Gavre, but once you eat it, it becomes Ra Gomor. It becomes an Isa Cheftze. Al Koponim, this is a very interesting machlekes in today's Rambam regarding how what we do with Isuri de Rabbonon. What's the Geder Isuri de Rabbonon? The Rebbe should help us to connect to the Rebbe through Limud Rambam and see all these different fascinating ideas. And we're learning Rambam for the 40th time. Every time you learn Rambam, you see a new depth. God bless you all. What a wonderful day.